Hey Fragrance family, I'm Daver.
And I'm Max.
And we're the Fragrance Bros. Coming at you again with another review, again with guest host Max from Max 4T. How are you doing, Max?
Doing great. Always a pleasure. Always fun to do these.
Yeah, great to have you on again. And today we are doing a double review of Tom Ford Grey Vetiver Eau de Parfum and the Eau de Toilette. Okay, so let's go ahead and get straight to it. Date introduced for the Eau de Parfum was 2009. The Eau de Toilette was introduced in 2014. They're classified as woody aromatics. Alright, so the notes for the Eau de Parfum version are grapefruit, orange blossom, sage, nutmeg, orris, pimento, vetiver, amber, and oak moss. And so the notes for the Eau de Toilette are lemon, grapefruit, bergamot, orange blossom, Thai basil, orris root, vetiver, amber, oak moss, and musk. Alright, so Max, what do you get out of longevity of the Eau de Parfum and the Eau de Toilette?
So the Eau de Parfum, I definitely get a little better performance. Longevity with that one is right around the 8-hour mark. So if I wear that for work, which I like to wear it for work, it's just a whole day's work. About 8 hours, no problem there. Eau de Toilette, about 6 to 7. It falls a little shorter in the longevity department.
Yeah, I totally agree. For me, I got maybe just a little bump extra in mine. So mine was around the 9-hour mark. Wow. On the Eau de Parfum, and probably around the 7-hour mark for the Eau de Toilette. So excellent for the Eau de Parfum, about average for the Eau de Toilette. What about projection for both of them?
Projection is kind of similar, but I do get a little better with the Eau de Parfum. I'd say a good 2 to 3 on the Eau de Parfum. Eau de Toilette, just about the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well. It kind of pushed out in the average range for the Eau de Parfum, and a little bit less so on the Eau de Toilette. Both of these are very easy to classify, spring and summer, and both of them daytime. I think the Eau de Parfum might be able to work in a nighttime setting as well. It has a little bit more oomph to it. In purpose, I would say great for casual, great for work. I would say that the Eau de Parfum has a little bit more versatility. To me, it seems like it does. It seems like for that one, I could pull that off more in a formal situation and even more in a date situation, maybe like a first date, second date type thing. We'll get to how they smell later, but it just seems to me that the Eau de Parfum just has a little bit more going on there.
Totally agree.
All right, Max, what do these remind you of, starting with the Eau de Parfum?
You know, they have the same kind of dominant, obviously, they're vetiver fragrances. They have like the same structure, kind of, you know, overall main structure, and I think that, like we talked about, the notes in the beginning, both aromatic fragrance, woody aromatics, but I think the Eau de Parfum is a little bit spicy, a little bit more going on for it, like we talked about. Mm-hmm. So to me, they're like the quintessential, elegant, sophisticated man. When I think about these fragrances and I smell them, what comes to mind is somebody, you know, wearing a jacket, you know, a suit, you know, going to work, you know, in the daytime, spring, summer. It works fantastic for that kind of setting. I think it's easy to please, smells great, and I think what comes to mind, like I said, it's somebody well-dressed, well-groomed, you know, somebody that wants to have that sophistication, the elegant kind of edge to it. This fragrance does perfectly.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially for the Eau de Parfum version. I have a review of the original Eau de Parfum version. I'll have a link down below. And so this is kind of serving as kind of a re-review. The reason I want to re-review this is because the original version was very old. It's one of the first videos that I made. And it's actually with Steve-O, who predates Jer, you know.
Wow.
I still think a lot of the same things that I thought about then, I do now as well, still. I think this is very sophisticated, as you said. It's definitely vetiver. It's a very casual vetiver. It's very clean vetiver. It's very friendly vetiver. A lot of times vetivers can be intense or over the top or almost super masculine. And this is really, I mean, I think you hit it on the head. I think it's really a well-groomed, refined man. This to me is a perfect scent for me because I really like the casual attitude of it, but I like the dressed up nature of it. It's casual but expensive. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. It's a casual that adds dimension to it. It's a casual that gives character to that casual. It makes like an upper class casual, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I really love about the Eau de Parfum version in particular is how smooth it is. It just really has this creaminess about it and this smoothness. And I know a lot of people use smooth as an adjective for fragrance that means nothing. But this has real creaminess to it. It must be from a lot of the orris in the mix there. But it is a very smooth blend in there. and it just works so well at knocking off those harsh edges that Vetiver normally has. The overall sense that it has, from going to citrus to Vetiver to that creamy base, is just really, really good. I really love it. In my first video of this, I made a comparison between this and L'Odyssée by Issey Miyake, and I still believe that there is kind of a connection there. I think this is a better version of that. They're different. I think that one goes more on the citrus side.
And more sour too.
It
That was
does.
more sour, more sharp. This is more creamy and subtle and very easy to wear and very, it's very appealing, very compelling. The other one could be a little harsh to some people because of that sourness and that harshness, that sharpness.
Absolutely. And also too, I think this has a grown-up aspect to it that I love.
Correct.
L'Odyssée doesn't necessarily have that, but they share something there, in that they're citrus and that they have like that creamy quality about it. And talking about the EDT, I guess we'll go into the EDT now. The EDT to me is a lot more citrusy at the top, and a lot more lemon, especially at the top.
A lot greener, yeah.
Yeah, and whenever I smell the two back to back, the citrus immediately pops on the eau de toilette, and on the eau de parfum, the spice actually pops. On the eau de parfum, I got a lot more of that pimento and the nutmeg in there that I didn't notice when I didn't compare them side by side.
Side by side, yeah.
But I like that spicy aspect of the eau de parfum. The eau de toilette version, I think, is nice. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it. I'm a little on the fence about it, just because, it's an eau de toilette version. They started with the eau de parfum. I don't know why they needed an eau de toilette version of this. It still it still retains the same qualities as the original eau de parfum version. Once it dries down, it smells a lot more like the original version, but it's not as strong, and it doesn't last as long, and it just has extra citrus, and overall the value of the two, which we'll get to later, is about the same. So it's kind of like, why do I care about the eau de toilette version?
Absolutely.
So Max, what about compliments? Do you get many compliments with these?
I do. Actually, Grey Vetiver is one of the fragrances that, like I said, I wear for work. It's one of my go-tos, and it does phenomenal. People usually, when I'm wearing this, they know I'm wearing this. You got the Vetiver today. Because it's, like you said, it's a very controlled Vetiver. It's very creamy. It's very smooth. It's very pleasant. And it just gives off this really nice air of sophistication and elegance. I do get quite good compliments with this. And it does last, like I said, I usually wear the eau de parfum, good 8 hours, so the whole day I'm smelling good and getting quite a bit of compliments with it, which is great.
I do too, and I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I don't get to wear it around in an office setting a lot, but this is perfect for that. And people have complimented me on it. My wife is on the fence about it. She says it's okay, but it's not me, which I completely disagree in this case. I do think it's me.
My wife's not gaga over it either. She doesn't think it's great. She thinks it's okay.
But overall, I think it is one of those scents where it is very clean and very noticeable at what a completely different, fresh scent this is. It's really nice. All right, bang for buck. The eau de parfum version is $91 thereabouts for 100 ml. The eau de toilette version is $87 for 100 ml. Which one would you be buying, Max?
There's no question there. Eau de parfum all the way.
It really depends on what you want, but the value here to me is really with the eau de parfum. They're both very similar, obviously. They both have a lot of the same characteristics, and they have slightly different aspects to each. Obviously, the eau de parfum, a little bit on the spicier side, tiny bit. And the eau de toilette, a little bit more on the citrusy side. Depends on what you want. They're both kind of around the same performance, even though I get a little bit more on the eau de parfum version. But overall, I think the value is much more significant with the eau de parfum version overall.
No doubt.
All right, Max, final rating, what do you give these?
I think the eau de toilette, I would give it 4. The eau de parfum, to me, is definitely a 5. It's a perfect gentleman scent. Definitely a 5 for the eau de parfum and a 4 for the eau de toilette, just because it falls a little short in the performance, and because I like the spiciness that I get with the eau de parfum, definitely is perfect to me.
Yeah, I'm going to do the exact same score. A 4 for the eau de toilette and a 5 for the eau de parfum. They're both great scents, but to me, the Eau de Parfum version is spectacular. It is a very sleek, sophisticated, creamy, modern scent, but it pays homage to the classical citrusy cologne scents, but does it so well in a modern day. It's just a perfect scent. I love it so much. So that's all we have for Grey Vetiver. Let us know if you've tried both of them down in the comments down below. Do you like them, love them, hate them? Let us know. And of course, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. We'll love you for it. And I'll have a link down below to Max's channel where you can go and subscribe to him as well. Thank you again, Max, for coming on. Always a pleasure, and you're always welcome.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure.
So that's all we have. We'll see you next time with the Fragrance Brothers. Bye.